friends, so today I am really excited about what I'm about to show you. So we are going to look at my sewing spot. It's a small space in my craft room that I have carved out to start sewing projects. So when I created this craft room, I did not have sewing in mind. So I had a place, sketched out to do like cricut projects, to do sublimation projects, to have my computer, to do design work, all these things that I had sort of carved out spaces for with storage. And what I did not have is a place to do any type of sewing. So my mom is an amazing, she can do all things sewing. She makes really, really complex projects, and she's been sewing for 40 plus years. So I am going to learn at her elbow, and I finally decided, you know what, I want to learn to sew. I truly do. My grandmother was an amazing quilter, and she passed away before I ever truly, we did some things together, but I really never, got that skill down. And my mom's not going anywhere anytime soon, but I want to make sure that I'm learning from her. I think that there's such a wealth of knowledge in our older generation, and I want to make sure that I'm taking advantage of that. So we're starting at ground zero, and part of that is setting up a spot where I can actually sew and learn, and she can come over and show me things. And so what we're going to do is we're going to walk through my little space. I'm going to show you how everything got set up, and we're going to talk about lighting the space, because this space that I am using for my sewing, it wasn't really supposed to be anything. It is a wall between two doors. And so it had no purpose. It had absolutely no purpose, and we're giving it a purpose. And so I'm hoping you can see how in your house you can take a very small space and set up the perfect spot. So my mom is going to be teaching, but she's not comfortable being on camera, which I totally get, because it's not always easy. It's actually really, really hard some days, but she doesn't want to be on camera. So what she's going to do is she's going to teach me how to do these things, and a lot of times probably be with me, but she doesn't actually want to be on camera. So just know that when we're doing sewing projects, I do have someone with a ton of knowledge, walking me through it. And so what we're going to do today is I'm going to show you my little spot. I'm going to show you the things that my mom has gifted me to get things started. And then we're actually going to do a first project. So we're going to make a little fabric banner to, kind of dress up my sewing space. Today, we're going to do a very simple banner, because I got to start at ground zero. I got to start at the beginning and go from there. So if you want to do that with me, I hope that you will stick around. Okay, so let's hop over and look at the space. Okay guys, so this is it. So this is my new little sewing spot. I still have stuff to do. I still have several things to do, but I didn't want to wait any longer for it to be perfect to share it with you guys. So I have, this wall was between two doors. So I have the entry, the barn doors to this room, and then I have two doors that go into my storage area for this room. And so this wall doesn't really have a purpose. If this door is open, it would be open into that space. And so I was just using this, candidly, as extra storage. Wasn't very cute before I set this up. So I'm really excited that I have, forced myself to get rid of that mess and make a cute spot out of this. So it actually has a purpose now. So what I've done is, first of all, I have my cricut lighting. I cannot tell you enough about this lighting. So my mom actually came over and sort of helped me get some things together, and we were talking about it, and she has a lot of lights in her sewing studio or her sewing space. And she told me that she is in love with this one because this one actually will go warm to cool. Which is much better for the bright light is so much better for photography, but sometimes the warm is better. All of hers are warm, and they don't do any of the bright light. And I hate to admit this, but I cannot see as well as I could at one time. So I need the bright. I need that bright natural light to be able to see. But here's the cool stuff. So with the Cricut Bright 360, it's actually so simple to use. I mean, just a touch of your hand. You could probably even just do it with your finger, but it's gonna pivot and rotate and kind of glide around your space. It is going to light up 4 square feet of space. And that's perfect for my little sewing spot. It's absolutely perfect. I'm gonna be able to work in this whole space and not have any issues. Okay, so I chose the floor model, and there's a desktop model too, but I chose the floor because my space is so small. I didn't want to take up desktop space for the base of the lamp, and it's a really heavy base so that, you know, it's sturdy and it doesn't, like, you know, wobble and fall off or anything. The other thing is this lamp, I thought it would be really great to be able to, you know, pivot and be able to go behind my sewing machine. It could go to the front, like if I'm doing a bobbin or something like that, or if I'm trying to thread the needle. I thought that this would be the perfect lighting to do that, because not only is the Cricut light, you know, kind of versatile to be able to move around, it's also, it can do a couple of different temperatures. So I am kind of a bright white kind of girl. I like the daylight bulbs. So this is an LED light, so you can go to a warmer version though, if you would prefer like a warmer light, and that matches, you know, how your eyes adjust and work. But if you want great photography, I would go for that bright, beautiful daylight. So this lamp is capable of both, and a lot of the sewing lamps or lamps like for your craft space that are out there are all warm. So I love the fact that I could choose. And then you can also choose, like if you have decent light and you just need some light, you don't want to, you know, shine yourself out, you're able to like dim the light as well. Now I'm going to most likely use it on full just because this space has no extra light. It's away from the windows, and it doesn't have a, you know, specific light beaming down for this space, but I think the Bright 360 is going to be exactly what I need. So let me show you around my little space. Okay, so now let's talk about a couple of other things in my space. So it's very simple. I have a chair, which I'm going to make a little cover for. And so that's something I didn't get done, you know, before we did the video. But again, I didn't want to wait on the chair. But I have a white chair and we're going to do a little cover for it. And then my mom, God bless her, is letting me use, she actually told me I could have it, but we're going to say letting me use her Janome sewing machine. So it is an amazing sewing machine that does a ton of stuff. And yes, so I'm going to learn how to use that. And I have a little pegboard so I could put some threads there. And I want to like be able to clip up fabrics that I'm going to work with for inspiration. And then I have learned a lot about sewing scissors and cutters. So do not, this is my mom talking now, do not ever use your sewing scissors, your fabric scissors, for anything but fabric. You hear me, girls? Fabric, nothing else, no paper. Don't let the kids get a hold of them, no paper. Okay, so just a quick closer look at the pegboard. So this was super easy to install. This is IKEA. This is the white IKEA pegboard. And then I wasn't quite sure what I needed to put with it. So I got the little drawer, and then I got little clamps and some hooks, but I'm going to go back and get some more because I want to be able to put some more of my tools on this. And so right now I'm just starting at the beginning. My mom has loaned me the machine, and I got, Cricut has a little kit that has all of the different things in it that you need. So like the rotary cutter and the scissors, and oh, by the way, girls, can you see right there? It says fabric. Cricut put it on the scissors, so no one uses any other scissor, you know, or they don't use those scissors for anything except fabric. So it's actually written on it. And then I have various threads, which I'll be honest with you, I'm starting to have an obsession with threads and fabrics. So we'll see how I do. And then I also have, I have this little bowl, and I just put vinyl on it that says thread scraps. Because as we were doing a couple of small things and my mom was teaching me some stuff, I was like, what do I do with all these little threads? Thread bowl. Yep, just a little glass bowl. I think I paid $1 for it at the Dollar Tree. And I put a little bit of vinyl on it, and I think it turned out so super cute. Okay, and so last but not least, to the left of my sewing table, I have this little stand, and I have a Brother Serger. So this is another gift from the mom. So she's gonna show us how to use that as well. And candidly, she said the Serger's tons easier than the actual machine, but I'm excited about getting to know how to use the Serger. I've used one before under her tutelage, but I would love to be able to like learn it well enough that I could do it on my own. So I have the Serger, and then I thought I would put fabrics and things in the second tier up, and then I have my glass craft mat on top. Okay, so here we are on the craft table, and these are the things that we're going to use for our little banner. So I have some darling fabric. Those who craft with me know I have a thing for polka dots, and I have a thing for stripes, and I have some heat and bond because this is just gonna give it a thicker, you know, it's gonna give it a backing, and this is what we put on our fabric when we cut it on the Cricut. So if you wanted to, and you wanted to do a shape, what you would do is following that applique project that I did before, again linked up above, I'll put it down below along with all the things that we're using today, but you could back this fabric, put it on your Cricut, and cut out any shape. So I'm going to be cutting out squares, but you could cut out any shape you wanted. And then I have my cutting mat, my rotary blade. Now this one's only for fabric. I have a couple of pieces of ribbon, which is what we're going to be sewing our little banner to. And then I have my straight edge ruler because I want to just cut these out without my machine. And then I also have a pressing mat and my iron because I want to iron out my fabric before we get started. Okay, so let's move everything out of the way and get going. Okay, so I am just going to quickly get the wrinkles out of the fabric that we're using. We're not using very much. This is a small fabric banner, but you don't want to try to cut your fabric with a bunch of wrinkles in it because it's not going to be straight. Okay, so I'm going to do this to my polka dot, and then we will get to cutting. Okay, so this is my Heat and Bond, and so what I want to do is, I can show you the package real quick. So this is Heat and Bond Ultra Hold, and so although I am not adhering this to anything, you could put a second fabric, make it reversible on the back, or this is great for what we used it for the applique in the last video. But I am just going to cut off a piece of this and have it as a stiffener or as a backer. Okay, so then we are just going to take, now by the way, this one I have for paper, and I have a separate one for fabric. So don't, it's just like with scissors, you don't use your rotary cutter on the two as well. So I'm going to use my paper one on this. And I love this straight ruler. Okay. So I should have been holding it the whole time. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is iron this onto the back of my fabric. I'm actually just going to cut off this one little smidget spot real quick because I want to save that for my next project. Okay. Okay, so now I have roughly, I think I did this as 3 by 5 or roughly 3 by 5. Okay, so the next thing that we're going to do is we're actually going to iron the Wonder Under to the fabric. And so this is the front of my fabric. I'm ironing it to the back of my fabric, and I'm skipping the selvage right there. And it doesn't take much at all for it to adhere. So we just want to apply no mist. We just want to apply the Wonder Under to the fabric. And then we will flip that over and cut it out. Okay, so since we're doing stripes, what we want to do is we're going to cut, I'm roughly going to be like 3 by 4, but I want to start and end with a color because otherwise you won't be able to see the bottom edge of my banner. So I'm just going to start here. We're going to take this again is our fabric cutter. I'm going to go across. And then we're going to cut it again, and so this is the backed piece of fabric. Okay, so this has been trimmed out at 3.5 inches deep, and then just the length of the fabric. And so now I have the stripes and the polka dots. And so now what we want to do is we just want to cut out a couple of little rectangles or squares and make that into our banner. Okay, so now I'm going to cut this piece at, it's 3.5 wide. I'm going to cut it at 4.5, and then I think I'm going to cut the stripes at 3.5. So they're actually going to be 2 different lengths. And I switched, you guys probably noticed that I switched to my Fiskars just because I think I need a new blade on my Cricut. Okay, so now I have all 3 of these cut out, and again, I'm using the Fiskars just because my Cricut blade seemed to be really dull, and the Fiskars was doing okay, even though I have cut paper with it before. Okay, so for this one, I think what we're going to do is we're going to cut this, we're going to cut off 3.5, which will make it a perfect square. I'm going the wrong way. 3.5, make it a perfect square. So I'm going to use my cutting mat, get it into the corner. I'm gonna lay my straight edge across. The nice things about these mats is, see, it has the design here, so I know that I've got it perfectly lined. Okay, then we cut that one off. So see, now we're gonna have the little polka dots, and then we'll have a little, isn't that gonna be sweet? It's gonna be so cute. Okay, and so then we'll just do that one more time. And then once I've done this, we're actually going to flip it over and peel the backing off, but it's going to leave the stiffness of the Wonder Under, but we can peel off that backer. Okay, so the next thing we want to do is we want to turn these over, and we want to peel off the backer from each one. Okay, so now we have all of our pieces of fabric. Move those over just a little bit. The next thing we want to do is I have my ribbon and it's already cut and I've ironed it. And so we want to find the center point because we have 5 elements. This third one is actually going to be dead center of the center of that fabric, or the center of that ribbon. Okay, so now we're just going to make a little crease in that. Then I'll open that up. Okay, and so then we know that we're going to place that dead center. And so now we're going to take a pin. I want to get it at the top as well. Pin it in place. And again, guys, this is beginner stuff, so there's no perfection here, but this is going to let you to create something cute for your craft space or for the 4th of July, a birthday, Halloween, whatever it is that you want to create a cute little fabric banner for. Okay, and so then I think between each one, I don't know, let's see, what if we had like a 1/2 inch? Okay, Mom's saying she thinks it needs to be 1 inch, so I'm gonna move it down. We're gonna have a whole inch between each one. Okay. So see, she will watch me do this over my shoulder and try to help me and want to jump in, and that want to jump in is gonna make her get on video, right guys? Absolutely. She's gonna hop in here because she's not gonna be able to stand it. Okay, so there we go. So the second one, and then I'll finish this out and we'll hop over to the sewing machine. Okay, so here we go. So my mom is here against her will, but she's here. Okay, so now the first thing I need to do is put the needle down. Is that this button?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I'm doing that.
My needle's down.
Now, pull out your pen.
Okay, pull out my pen.
Almost all the way out. Don't take it all the way out.
Okay.
Now, put on your presser foot.
Okay.
Is it holding it pretty good?
I think so. I mean,
take a couple of stitches and then pull the pen out. Don't sew over the pens.
Yeah, I'll break my needle, right?
Yeah, well, it's just not good to do anyway.
Okay.
And just follow along because you got a guide on the presser foot.
So keep my guide.
Mm-hmm. And I got the machine set.
Is this a special kind
stitch.
of presser?
Yeah, it's a 1/4 inch
What is
presser
it?
foot.
Presser foot. There you go. Presser
Right.
foot.
It's made for quilting and things like that, so you can sew right along the edge.
Okay.
Now you
So
go
I
ahead and
think I
take
can
that
take
out.
that needle out, and then I'll just keep going.
Right.
Okay.
Now when you get to the end, you'll push that button that looks like where it ties a knot, so your threads won't unravel.
Okay, great.
A lot of times you can reverse it, and it'll sew backwards a couple of stitches and forward a couple of stitches. A lot of people do that too.
Oh, I've seen you do that. Okay, so that's just sort of to set the thread, or?
Right. This is a really nice machine too. I have a lever that goes underneath it if you don't want to do the presser foot, where you just do it with your knee.
Oh, yeah. Well, we'll get to that someday. Today we'll just stick with this. I'm just excited to be sewing my first something. I know it's not going to be perfect. I can tell I'm getting off. And
people think sewing has to be perfect. If you ever looked at anything you bought in the store, you'd realize
that's true. That's
nothing is
ever perfect. Yeah. But this you can say you made with love.
Oh, wait a minute. You're getting
Oh gosh.
There you go.
I think it's because I was
You took the pen out a little early.
Much. Yeah, I did. Okay. Oh.
Lift your knee. Lift your presser foot, not your knee.
Okay, girls, this is
just your presser foot.
Telling you what you did wrong or what I did wrong. Okay,
now
so
put
get
it,
my
line
fabric.
it back up.
Okay.
And now when you put the presser foot back down,
it'll hold it.
Right, it should.
Okay. So
but
I'm just
leave
gonna
the
go
needle
slow.
Yeah, but when you lift the presser foot like that, always leave the needle down.
Okay,
so
I think my needle was up too, so the needle should stay down to keep it
in the right position,
place.
right.
Okay, doing this makes me want to do a shaped banner next. Like, I'm just thinking like back to school, like little apples. How stinking cute would that be to make a teacher appreciation?
Can do Christmas banners,
like a
all
teacher
sorts of things.
gift or something for her classroom, or even just like a little back to school party. So I have a little scissor. Oh wow, so it cut my thread.
Lift your presser foot.
And I lift my presser foot, my needle's up, and I always pull it to the back. Never pull it to the front. Oh, it looks so stinking cute. Oh, I'm so excited. This is cute, cute, cute.
You have something on the back of it.
Okay, so there you have it, my first project that I sort of really did on my own. So this is really exciting for me. So this space, I have so much planned for it. I know that it is bare bones right now, but I am so happy that I was able to make something out of this wall that really had no purpose. And so now I have all my little sewing things here, and I'm just gonna add to that and get, you know, more as I learn the craft. I'll get more tools and that kind of thing. If you have a favorite tool, I would love for you to link it up down below so I can have a look at that. And I'll link all the things that we went over today as well. So definitely the Cricut Light, the 360, the Bright 360. You will love it. And I'm gonna put something on this little canvas, and I got this from Hobby Lobby. I wanna say I got it on half off. You know, they put pretty much everything, or 40% off. They do that every other week or so. And so this is a Hobby Lobby steal. And then I have my little pom-pom, and of course the little banner that we made, and then all the other things. And the pegboard was from IKEA, so I'll put that down below as well. And then I will find out from my mom exactly which Janome this is, and you know, link all that up in case you guys want to check that out. And by the way, if you have a Janome, or if you have any other brand of sewing machine and you absolutely adore it and you think it's the best one out there, I want to hear that too. Because for those of us that are in the market right now, I'm, you know, borrowing this from my mom, but if I get good and I get to where I really love it, I would like to get my own machine. So I want to know what you guys have to say about that. And so I hope you'll hit that subscribe button and join me for my next video. And by the way, the next one up is about tumbler presses, and I'm going to be reviewing a tumbler press, and we're going to be doing some super cute stuff that may or may not span multiple holidays like Halloween and fall and Christmas. So make sure you stay tuned. See you next time.